Human respiratory system. You can see at your screen the figure of the respiratory tract start from nasal cavity and ends up in the lungs, terminate with the help of alveoli. You have to draw this diagram carefully and neatly in your fair copies. I also mention the alveoli looking aside in the diagram. Respiratory system of human is consist of nose, pharynx, larynx. Larynx means sound box. Trachea, that is windpipe. Trachea divided into bronchi, and lungs consist of alveoli. You can see in the diagram epiglottis. This is the cartilaginous lid of windpipe, and a windpipe just bifurcated into two lungs. First of all, I will discuss the nasal passages in human beings, figure 6.9 of the NCERT book. Air is taken into the body through the nostrils. The air passing through the nostril is filtered by fine hairs that line the passages. So all the bacteria, dust particle filtered over there. This passage is also lined with mucus, which help in this process as well, because mucus is a sticky substance. Now trachea, that is windpipe and a cartilage ring. You can see in the diagram that trachea is supported with the C-shaped cartilage ring. From nasal cavity, the air passes through the throat and into the lungs. The ring of cartilage are present in the throat. These ensure that the air passage does not collapse. You can see in the diagram the trachea and esophagus together. Now lungs and alveoli. When trachea bifurcates or divides into lungs, into a smaller tube, that is bronchi divided into bronchioles and that terminate into balloon-like alveoli. Within the lungs, the passage divides into smaller and smaller tubes which finally terminate into a balloon like a structure which are called alveoli. The alveoli provide a surface where the exchange of gases can take place. The walls of the alveoli contain an extensive network of blood vessels. Now, what is the mechanism of breathing and respiration? When we breathe in, that is inspiration, we lift our ribs and flatten our diaphragm, and the chest cavity become larger as a result. You can see at the diagram. Because of this, air is sucked into the lungs and fills the expanded alveoli. The blood brings carbon dioxide from the rest of the body for release into the alveoli, and the oxygen in the alveolar sac is taken up by the blood in the alveolar blood vessels to the transported to all the cells of the body. But there is a residual volume of the air in the lungs. During the breathing cycle, when air is taken in and let out, the lungs always contain a residual volume of air so that there is sufficient time for oxygen to be absorbed and for the carbon dioxide to be released. This residual volume is of much importance during when there is a lack of oxygen or lack of air in surroundings. Now come to the point, that is respiratory pigment, that is hemoglobin. When the body size of animal is large, the diffusion pressure alone cannot take care of the oxygen delivery to all parts of the body. Instead, respiration pigment take up oxygen from the air in the lungs and carry it to the tissue which are deficient in oxygen before releasing it. In human being, the respiratory pigment is hemoglobin, which has a very high affinity for oxygen. This pigment is present in the red blood corpuscles. Hemoglobin. Now, do you know smoking is injurious to health? Lung cancer is one of the common cause of death in the world. The upper part of the respiratory tract is provided with a small hair-like structure called cilia. These cilia help to remove germs, dust and other harmful particles from inhaled air. Smoking destroys these hair, due to which germs, dust, smoke and other harmful chemical enter lungs and causes infection, cough and even lung cancer. So be careful during smoking. Do you know that carbon dioxide is more soluble in water? This is much more important question, student. Carbon dioxide is more soluble in water than oxygen and hence is mostly transported in the dissolved form in our blood. So there may be question in board examination that in what form CO2 is transported. So you can say it is in dissolved form because it is more soluble in water than that of the oxygen. Some more to know, that is, if the alveolar surface were spread out, do you know it would cover about 80 meter square area? Amazing. Just keep in mind that if diffusion were to move oxygen in our body, it is estimated that it would take 3 years for a molecule of oxygen to get to our toes from our lungs. 3 years if diffusion is there.